Take 3. Try again. How is everyone doing? If you're watching on YouTube, this is take 1. But if you're watching on Twitch, twitch.tv/AstronautPlus, this is take number 3. You will notice, if you've seen this before, that we are looking at a different camera angle. You're a bit more zoomed in, there's a bit more clarity, we've got blur in the background, because we changed the camera, and in doing that, inadvertently changed audio sources, which required the stream to be restarted for an extra test, and now we're live for the 3rd time, but we'll forget all that, because hopefully everything is good for you. If it isn't, let me know. If it is, let me know. And if it is and you say it isn't, then you're a penis. That's the end of that bit. I'm not joking. Welcome in if you're in the chat. Good morning. Deja vu, lol. Graham Deja vu. That's the one. Anyway. Bib!
Yes.
I'm going to ask you like it's the first time I've asked you. What have you been up to this weekend?
Not much. Is it Tuesday today?
It is Tuesday. What did you get up to yesterday? That's the one.
Not much, if I'm being perfectly honest. Obviously, I was trying to sort out my cat. She's fine. And I played some Football Manager last night after watching some TV, so there wasn't much on yesterday. But yeah, that's pretty much it. What about you?
This destroying the stream, so it had started 3 times. That's what I got up to. Okay, yeah. So I was pulling the studio apart. So initially, what I have, let me switch to the alternate cam, because we have an alternate cam now. If you weren't here for the 2 previous tests, you wouldn't have seen this before. So this is new. Ta-da! Yeah, there we go. Anyway, so previously, what we would have is so obviously we've got the Sony DSLR on the windowsill at the moment on a tripod. That's probably not where it's going to remain, but that is there. Usually we just have a little webcam sat here, which is what this is now. So we've moved the webcam from here over there, so we have a setup shot, and then we have the main cam at the front. The good thing about the main cam is it has better quality on the lens, so you can see much more detail. I don't think I've got it quite positioned right. There we go. So it's a manual lens though. So if I come closer, I get out of focus. If I go further away, I get out of focus. So I have to be sat in the right spot for it to be good. So yeah, basically, I pulled the room apart, got shitloads of wires. I've been collecting wires over the last 3 or 4 days, different postal deliveries like HDMI to USB-C, whatever cables, micro HDMI or mini HDMI or whatever it is. So anyway, yeah, all good, all cushy. It's all good, love. It's all good in the hood. But that was it. Oh, actually, that's not it. We also went for dirty, filthy burgers. If anyone is from Manchester, I think there's one in Leeds as well. There may be in other parts of the country now, but there is a place called Almost Famous which do incredible burgers. And in the Eat Out to Help Out scheme, which is the governmental kind of like everyone gets £10 off the meal up to 50% off up to £10. They've got a bundle where you spend like 20 quid on a burger, some fries, some chicken wings, and a soft drink. And they'll do it for 20 quid, but then they'll take 10 quid off it, so you only spend 10 quid when you go in. And the amount of food was incredible. Like 3 chicken wings. My burger had 2 beef burgers on it and steak on the burger, plus the cheese and tater tots and all the rest of the stuff. All of that, plus bacon fries, which, I mean, the picture's a bit dark. I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up. Actually, it's not really going to pick it up, is it, because of the zoom in? But yeah, anyway, that's what we got. Like 3 burgers, 3 lots of fries, 3 wings each, 3 soft drinks, all the dips and sauces in the world, and it cost 30 quid. It was good and cushy. So yeah, that's what I got to yesterday. Got chunky. Oh, actually, no, I had a well-productive day. So we went for burgers. We did the stream. We won the league in Masters of the League. Spoilers: we are top of league. So we are top of league. So we did that. Tinkered with the cameras and the room setup, and also plastered a wall. We just had a refit in the bathroom as well a few weeks back, and one of the walls needed skimming and plastering. So me and Danielle have done like phase 1 of plastering the wall as well. So yeah, busy day. Anyway, should we jump into some news?
Yeah, why the hell not?
Let's do it. Do let me know if I am being clipped by the RTX voice as well, by the way, because in the tinkering with the settings, one thing I did do was move the RTX voice setting up and down. So let me know if, I'm clipping too much. I might need to drop it back down again if I'm not clipping enough, because I've got the fans and stuff on. So just let me know if the audio is off. But anyway, you might have seen There's been one particularly big story. Well, there's been quite a few big stories in the world of video games. Particularly yesterday, we had a big story, and it's not even related to that. Yesterday, we spoke about legal battles around FIFA. FIFA has been taken to court over a class action lawsuit. I say FIFA, EA for FIFA and Madden and loot boxes specifically. But today we're talking about lawsuits, which is a different one. We actually started speaking about it last week, but we have an update on that story for you now. Hopefully. Yay! There we go. Written by Andy Robinson for VGC. The Fortnite legal battle escalates as Apple threatens Unreal Engine support. Apple will remove Epic's tools access, it claims. And then we have an image for hashtag free Fortnite on top of the screen. Epic Games has filed a temporary restraining order against Apple in an attempt to stop the iOS firm from removing its developer access, including support for Unreal Engine. Last week, Apple removed Fortnite from the App Store following Epic's move to circumvent its fees with a new direct payment option. Oh, yeah. Ugh. In retaliation, Epic filed a lawsuit and called on its fans to support the move. Google also removed Fortnite from its Play Store, which was met by similar legal action from Epic. The Fortnite maker claimed on Monday that Apple had now informed it that as of Friday, August 28th, Epic's developer accounts and iOS and Mac development tools would be cut off. So this is significant because this would prevent Epic from creating software for Apple's platforms, Epic claimed, including for the Unreal Engine middleware it offers to third-party developers. In a tweet, Epic said that it had requested a temporary restraining order in an attempt to stop the action and relist Fortnite on the App Store. Not content to simply remove Fortnite from the App Store, Apple is attacking Epic's entire business in unrelated areas, Epic said in its legal documents. Epic is likely to succeed on the merits of its claims, but without an injunction, Epic will be irreparably harmed long before final judgment comes. Technology markets move swiftly, it added. Left unchecked, Apple's actions will irreparably damage Epic's reputation among Fortnite users and be catastrophic for the future of the separate Unreal Engine business. If the Unreal Engine can no longer support Apple platforms, the software developers that use it will be forced to use alternatives. The damage to Epic's ongoing business and to its reputation and trust with its customers will be unquantifiable and irreparable. Epic's dispute with Apple and Google began last week when Epic reduced the prices of all Fortnite microtransactions by 20% across consoles, PC, and Mac. On iOS and Android, the discount was made available by a new direct payment option, which bypasses Apple's and Google's payment systems. Apple currently only allows direct payments for physical goods bought via Apple Pay. Epic has been openly critical of Apple Store's fees in the past, which sees the corporation claim 30% of all in-app purchases made in iOS. In a statement, Apple said that Epic had violated the App Store guidelines with the update, which it said had not been reviewed before publishing. There we go. Bib, thoughts?
I see. I'm still struggling to try and get my head around this because I have absolutely no idea about any kind of legal jargon or anything that. Jesus Christ, legal jargon or anything that goes around it. So obviously, Apple have stopped Epic from having Fortnite on their iOS devices, right? And they're also stopping the Unreal Engine being used on their Apple services. Is that correct?
Yes, essentially.
So, oh, Apple are surely hurting themselves at this point. But I mean, this all comes down to Fortnite not abiding by Apple's rules.
Yes, essentially. So the gist of it is Epic are trying to force change. So Apple have created a platform. As Apple are the owners of this platform, just like say if you had a nightclub and you developed and built this nightclub and you'd made it a success and everybody wants to get in, you can say, oh, it's going to cost you 10 quid to get in. And everyone could be like, yeah, but the clubs down the road are free to get in or only a couple of quid. Yeah, 10 quid, it's 20 quid tomorrow, mate. So whatever, it's my club, I can charge what I want. If you want to come inside, that's what you've got to do. Which is what Apple effectively have done. They've created this wonderful nightclub, the App Store, and people want to get inside it, i.e., pay the fees to have their gamers on the App Store. And that fee is 30%, which Epic argues. You could say this is an epic kerfuffle between two big companies, says Mr. Tassim Anvia. Bibby's disgust was killed by the RTX then, and probably best it was. Tito, it clearly breaks competition and monopoly rules, but that's why they've built the ecosystems they have. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. That's the thing. So this is where it all comes from. You get some people that are um I mean, it's not a clear cut story. There is a lot of grey area in it in terms of Epic are pushing for good things, but not necessarily doing it in the right way. Um, and there's a little bit of irony in it too. So basically, Apple's nightclub effect, Apple the App Store, they've developed this massive platform. They've developed it on devices that they've created, and basically only their devices can have access to it. If you want to be on an Apple device, then that's it. You have to go through the App Store. But the issue there is that the Apple devices have become so big that they have essentially been incorporated into normal life to the point where developers develop specifically for mobile, not mobile, but for iOS. Now, games are released specifically for iOS. If you want to be successful as a mobile game developer, you pretty much have to factor in iOS into your development. And that's where it starts to become like a little bit kind of different then in terms of I mean if someone has the actual laws or the knowledge of putting this into better ways than I have, then feel free to chip in. But essentially, if something becomes so big that either national or international just general operation relies on it, then essentially you become open to different laws, and that couldn't necessarily. I mean, that sounds a bit more extreme. There, let me give you a local example. Cinemas in Manchester. We have View cinemas, we have Odeon cinemas, but we had lots of Odeon cinemas, and Odeon basically squeezed out every other cinema in Manchester to the point where people couldn't go to a different cinema. They were almost entirely going to an Odeon cinema. As a result of that, Odeon were forced to sell some of their cinemas to alternative chains because they had created a monopoly and could price gouge. They could say, yeah, £5 for a ticket. It's now £15 for a ticket, and if you don't like it, well, you don't watch it in the cinema. So because of those competition laws, they were made to sell off some of those cinemas. So View picked up a couple of the cinemas, which is why the Printworks Odeon is now a View in Manchester. And this is this is a bit different because it's digital, but Epic are kind of saying that same thing because Apple have created this system that has become so widespread and widely used that people need it to be successful. Apple have a full-on monopoly on something that is integral to a large section of business, and they're saying that is antitrust, which American laws, the American antitrust laws, are laws on monopoly, and that's essentially the lines that they're going down. They're saying that them having so much power is a negative because they can control fates of companies without even thinking about it, and that's kind of the gist of it. So Apple, a lot of people are going, yeah, but it's their store; they can do what they want, and that's the issue. That it is their store; they can do what they want, but they've got so big that it now commands external input. That's essentially where Epic are coming it from. But yeah, rather than just pulling the game off the store, which Apple obviously are entitled to do whilst the laws as they are in place, Epic broke the rules as they are in place in a search for change of those rules. Because Epic broke those rules, the game was pulled off. That's what she said. Sorry, I couldn't resist. So the game was pulled down from the App Store. Apple then pulled Epic's developer access to all of their tools and all of their accounts. So then they haven't pulled anything that uses the Unreal Engine or the Unreal Engine itself. But there is no way for Epic to keep on with updates and security updates and everything on the store. And if the engine isn't up to date, then anyone that has an app that has security issues that can't stay on the store anyway. So yeah, basically by taking away all of the developer access, they've kind of like double-edged sword. They've taken their swipe back at them, but they're also taking a swipe at Unreal Engine, which obviously powers quite a lot of games and a lot of upcoming games as well. So yeah, big, 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 big.
It, I don't know how much of a detrimental effect it's going to have though, because if they remove Epic, if they remove the Unreal Engine from Epic on all of their apps, what is that going to do to their Apple Arcade? Because I imagine quite a lot of the games that are being put on there are probably using the Unreal Engine.
I
Does that mean
imagine
that they're
I
going to take
imagine
the
some of them will be. Yeah.
£200 somewhere? Yeah, so like if they're removing that and all the developer tools, then surely the people who have games on there um, might not be able to develop any more games or have their games taken off. So not only are they hurting their own pockets, they're hurting the pockets of the people who are they have got a deal with to be able to put them in Apple Arcade anyway. So I don't. It's all of this stuff and all of this legal things is usually something that I stay away from because I don't know much about them and I don't know all the nitty gritty details in and around it. So I'll be very. I'm more of a fan looking at this one because I want to see how all this plays out because it seems to be two absolute juggernauts going at each other, trying to make the other one play second fiddle,
It's
shall we
Stone
say?
Cold versus The Rock at WrestleMania. That's what it is. By God.
But I don't know which camp I'd sit in with this because rules.
I think
Rules are rules when it comes to stuff like this, and obviously they have a contract and they have broken it.
I think the
So we
answer
can't really root for the bad
is
guy in this
is
one.
both. Yeah, there's no bad guy. Well, there is a bad guy. There's both bad guys. That's probably the better way of putting it. Epic are forcing change, a change that is so big and so unlikely to happen when you're asking a company that's as big as Apple to change a massive thing for them. 30% of all App Store revenue. I mean, just having 30% of Fortnite's revenue is massive. Never mind Clash of Clans and PUBG Mobile and Call of Duty Mobile and Brawlhalla and every other mobile game that exists in the world.
Yeah.
Mobile revenue is massive. So Apple just take 30% off that off the bat. Boom. Asking them to give that up. It's like me going, Bibby, do you want to just throw away billions of pounds a year?
Mm.
I'm okay, thanks. I'll keep the billions. So the only way you can make that change is by doing something drastic. And Epic are trying to get like a people movement to make the change. Um,
Only to benefit their own pockets. So let's not forget that
uh,
Fortnite is the biggest company that will
ish,
probably make monetary
ish.
transactions in the game.
I mean, there is an absolutely there's a stink of that. I mean, their legal bit that they've put in says, and it's all right saying this. Their legal bit that they've put in says that we want this change and we don't want to be compensated for anything previous. We don't want to claw back lost earnings. It's not what we're doing it for. What we're doing it for is to make sure that everyone else doesn't have to pay these 30%
Mm.
fees and so on. So that's the message, but they will still benefit from that going forward,
Oh,
obviously. Yeah.
absolutely. Because they're going, we're losing 30% here. Yeah, fair enough. Keep it on the quiet that they don't want people to know that we're not going to claim for the previous stuff. However, going forward, we're going to end up taking maybe not 30%, maybe even be 15%, but that's still a lot more money that they're going to make. They will be making more money hand over fist than anybody else on the App Store. Doesn't matter what game it is. So for them to be able to want to go into bat and say it's for everybody else, I agree. They will have that in the back of their minds, but ultimately it's to line their own pockets. If they're the ones that are going into bat, that's fair enough. But to say to put a rallying cry out for everyone to say, "Come on, we've been robbed of 30% for so long. It's time to put a stance out." They're the ones that are. It's their neck on the line, shall we say, because they've got a lot more to lose than just Fortnite itself. They've got the entirety of the engine that they own being used for everybody else, but they've kind of got everyone else over a barrel there, have they not? If everybody else is using their engines to create the games, it's kind of like this is your future that you're fighting for as well, not just ours. We'll go into bat with Fortnite, but all of your games that you're all using our engine for, yeah, that may be getting pulled now. So you're better off just joining us in this battle because ultimately your game may sink or swim.
Uh, See, I think that's not what they went for. I think that's something that Apple has put in by pulling the external support, which is where they're looking for this. What have they? Not an injunction or whatever. Whatever they've applied for. I can't remember the actual word. Restraining order, that's it. So Epic are applying for a restraining order so that doesn't happen, so that doesn't come into place. So that isn't, I'd say that's something that Apple has brought to the table rather than Epic don't want to like threaten their their community of developers. I don't know if community is the right word. Apple have kind of made that a thing.
Yeah.
The only thing I will say, whilst they are benefiting from the changes of it, obviously someone has to do something to make that change going forward. 30% is a drastic figure. Like, I know that it's a massive marketplace. There was a comment earlier on. Where is it? Tito, there we go. I mean, 30% is huge, but the market accordingly is huge. The market is huge, but so is the competition base. Um, because of the size of the market. So just because the market is huge doesn't mean there is success. I know loads of people that have made apps that just can't get anywhere with it because to get any sort of traction, you need success, and to get success, you need exposure, and to get exposure, you either need friends who are influencers, and a game that just goes viral for one of the many means of virals, or you need to pay for store placement, which is another revenue stream for Apple. But there is definitely a case to be fought there in terms of doing this. That 30% cut off the top, it's something like to make that purchase or something on. So say if you wanted to buy, I don't know if it was V-Bucks actually. We'll just keep it vague because I don't know exactly the details. But if you want to purchase something on iOS, you could be paying 30. Apple will be taking 30%. If you want to purchase something on Apple's own operating systems, but on a Mac, then they take a much lesser cut. Which the fact that they can do that on the mobile because it's their own ecosystem, but when you're on a Mac, they know that you have access to different stores and so on like that. That shows you that there is something there that isn't quite right. The fact that they know they have a captive audience. It's like
Mhm.
going to a cinema where you get absolutely bent over a barrel to pay for your revels when you go to the cinema. Go to the corner shop on the way up though. You get it for like 25% of the price. Bosh! You go in with your pockets lined, like trying to look like James Bond, stealthing some sweets in, even though you're absolutely 100% allowed to take your own sweets in. But but yeah, there's definitely a need for a change. That 30% is horrendous, and it's at the point where Apple has created this massive beast, and they need to find a way that people aren't being bent over a barrel, but neither is Apple, and they're not being forced into doing something here. So Epic are doing something that should be done, and there is an element of it being done for the greater good. But let's not forget, this will benefit Epic massively, who are a massive company with one of the most valuable IPs in the world, and uh, completely lost my train of thought. Uh, what was the other bit I was going to say? I can't even remember. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. But yeah,
I,
anyway.
I still don't know where I sit on this because Apple have created something. They've created a storefront and they've created a handset. What have you got? What mobile phone have you got?
Me, I've got an iPhone.
Yeah, and so is the majority of people in the world. It's literally iOS and Android. They're the
It's
two
I think it's like
biggest ones.
around. It's somewhere in the 50 to 60% market share, maybe 40 to 60. Somewhere, so about half the market. Then would you call it that?
So if you want to download an app on Apple, the only way that you can get an app because you can't sideload apps, as far as I'm aware, you may be able to jailbreak it still, but this is something that I'm going back 10 years ago when I had an iPhone, the one and only iPhone that I had, I could jailbreak it, and my iPod Touch back in the day. But if you want an app, you have to go to the iStore or App Store or whatever the fuck it's called nowadays. If they are well within their right to have an app store that if you put something on, they can take a cut from because that is their storefront. I don't see a problem. Maybe 30% is a little bit too much, but they're well within the right to put whatever they want on. If you want an app to go on there, you have to pay the fees. That's the way that it is. And they're only fighting for it because their bottom line, their pockets are not being lined with enough money.
See, that's the thing. I think I agree with what you're saying, but the way you're saying it is too simplistic. That's the same as my club analogy. If you have a nightclub, you've built the nightclub, you've
Yeah.
marketed the nightclub, and your nightclub is successful because of your hard work making it into this wonderful thing.
Mm,
You can charge what you want to get people in. That's fine. But the difference there, though, is that's just a nightclub. That's just one product. And by
mhm,
simplifying the App Store to say it's just something that Apple's made, makes that legitimate. But the difference is your iPhone is where you access your mail, where you video conference your colleagues. It's how you speak to your friends. It's where you spend your time playing. It's where you stream to the world. And that's
yeah.
where the issue comes in, is that it's not just your nightclub on the corner now that people go to for a bit of fun. It's an actual way of life. And that's where the laws are different then. That's
Mm,
where things start to get absorbed by the state kind of thing. It's that big that Apple has something that's state worthy. Yeah, they have developed it, but that it's now at the point where it's state worthy, and they are still in control of it, and that's the issue. Where the whole 1984 thing comes in, Apple are essentially in charge of government level products here now.
Yeah, yeah, but that's essentially. I mean, this is an analogy that I'm just gonna I'm gonna roll with it and see whether or not it makes any sense.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
There's a lot of hairdressers in the world that are hugely popular, massive names, and a hairdresser has to rent their chair, say £200 a week, but they know that they're going to be getting at least a grand a week from the people that are going to be coming in. The building itself, or whoever it is that owns the shop, knows that they're getting a solid £200 a week from that person, regardless of how many people come in that week and sit in that chair to get their haircut. If they make a grand, fine. The other person's made £800 profit. The other person, the shop will get the £200. They know that going into it. The person who signs for that chair knows that they have to pay £200 a month, 800. £200 a week, £800 a month. If there's obviously 4 weeks in the week, but they know that going in and signing the contract, it's not for them later down the line to say, actually, I'm going to take you to court because I don't think £200. I think that's too much money. I actually only want to pay £100. Things don't work like that.
See that I get the sentiment. I agree with the sentiment, and I agree with that with this a little bit. Well, for quite a lot of it, to be fair. But the issue isn't so much that they want to get out of their contract. I mean, Iceman mentions that if Epic was so against it, they shouldn't have signed the deal with Apple in the first place. I mean, you can agree with that to a point, but this is where we get the grey area. They shouldn't have signed the deal in the first place, but if they didn't sign that deal in the first place, they have no means of success. If they have instantly no access to 40% of all mobile market and
Mm,
beyond, iOS goes to tablets and so on. If they don't have access to that market, then they are destined to fail, which is
mhm,
a monopoly, and that's where the whole grey area comes in. The awkward thing that for that thing there is that Epic are a user of the store, so they will benefit firsthand from a change. That thirty
mhm,
percent is going to go straight to them. Well, it's not going to go straight to them because they've dropped the price by 20%, and they've saying that's where the price will change. They want to push that saving on to the consumer. Obviously, that's PR, that's marketing stuff.
mhm.
They will make money from it. Don't you worry. But by saying they're passing it on to the user, that's really good PR. That's good.
Yeah.
But you can't make change with a company that big without being a massive company. And who else is going to make that change? Spotify have started and tried previously. Spotify are having issues with it. Xbox can't get their games on the App Store because of their monopoly and the way that the system works. So there is definitely a need for the App Store to change. Is Epic doing it the right way? Do you know what? I don't think anyone has the right answer to that. And is
No.
Epic doing it purely for themselves? I don't think anyone fully purely for us and our benefit and smaller developers. I don't think anyone fully believes that they will get a massive benefit from it. But that's where I say it's a difficult one because you, you can see Apple. It's like they've made their house and people want to live in it for not rent free but much cheaper. So you can see that kind of side of it. But then Apple are also just overbearing landlords that are absolutely taking all the money off these hardworking people that are at the bottom of the food chain that just can't do anything but pay the stupid rent. I don't have any money for anything else because you're charging so much on the rent. There is, and that's where when Baby said, I don't know which side of the fence I'm on. I think I'm on both because that's where like to steal Bibby's words again, the best thing we can do is just sit and watch this unfold because it's definitely
Mhm.
going to be an interesting one to see how it goes.
Well, everything that has come out so far has been very PR friendly for everybody else to join in their fight. Like from the moment that their stuff was pulled from the App Store, they made an advert, like a 30-40 second advert.
That was already
Pretty,
made.
yeah, exactly, because they knew that this shit was coming. So as soon as that happened, within I don't know a couple of hours, that was made. You are not if you are in video games and you're developing, there is no way that they can knock that advert up within
It's
about three
Nah,
hours.
that's
It's
that's
impossible.
moves and counter moves. That's like
Yeah.
the art of war. You know what their next move is going to be, so you plan your
Mm,
your step for it. If they
yeah.
give us the money, job's a good one. If they don't and they take us down, we've got this to go. Bosh, that's it.
Exactly. And then they've got the hashtag free Fortnite, how many times have we seen in video games a hashtag free and then insert name of uh, damaged opposition here or something like that? It's all these moves have been pre-planned because they knew that this shit was coming, and every single PR piece that's come out has made it seem like you, the consumer, need to be on Fortnite's side rather than Apple's. They want the fight, they want an army to go into bat for them, and that's the way that I'm seeing it from the outside. Because I mean, I do enjoy Fortnite here and there. I'm not a massive advocate of it. I'm more of an advocate for Unreal Engine, if anything, because of the games that I've played previously and looking forward to in the future. As someone who has only ever owned one Apple product, two Apple products in my life, and haven't owned one for about 10 years. Not really an Apple side either. But from this point, looking in from the outside, it's a very juicy battle that's going to be going on. But from what I see, it looks like Epic are putting out rally cries rather than Apple. Apple are just pulling stuff left, right, and center to try and hurt Epic, and it's just how many times are Epic going to be able to volley the ball back over the other side of the net?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is Apple. I mean, Epic are big, Apple are bigger. Um, I, but if you start to get a round table of where was the comment? Tito says Epic and Microsoft are two companies who could take on the might of Apple, but obviously they're doing it for their own agenda. But it will benefit players. If you start to get like Epic has made change previously. They forced Sony into allowing crossplay to be a thing. Um, they could potentially do that with this if they have the likes of Microsoft and Spotify going behind them. Even Spotify is a big company, but it's nowhere near the likes of Apple. But if you have something that is cool and trendy. I sound like a proper old man saying cool and trendy.
Mhm.
Cool and trendy in terms of Spotify. It's very current, obviously. I mean, music always is. It's just the way that music is current these days. But Spotify brings music. Epic brings games, software systems, and Apple brings that across multiple devices. If you get those three going at Apple, then they could cause a massive change there. But where was the other? The comment there said, but obviously they're doing it for their own agenda, but it will benefit players. Says Tito. I mean, that's it for those. There will always be a guise of we're absolutely doing this for the people at the bottom of the chain, and not ourselves. I mean, you are, but you're not. You are, but you're not. I mean, you're doing it for the person at the bottom of the chain, but not because you want to get a high five off of John with his iPhone 8 playing Fortnite with his two mates or whatever. You're doing it because John and his mates are all going to spend $7.99 on V-Bucks to get the new season pass or whatever. That's what you're doing it for. That's what you're
Well,
doing
I
it for.
mean, there's another thing as well, using a different kind of analogy. This one is a lot more. I'm a bit skeptical about this one compared to the last one, but like in football, in terms, if you want to sign a decent enough player from a small club and you are a big club, the smaller club is going to actively try and seek as much money from the people from the club that's trying to buy the player as they can. Likewise, if there was two massive clubs and you're taking their best player, you want as much money from them to be able to go out and fund a new player, or because you know it's going to damage your title chances going forward. So for them to say 30%, for Fortnite, it's not a lot of money. I mean, it's it is in a sense of they're taking 30% off however much a season pass is, £9. So they're going to be taking what, £4 or £5 off them, maybe three. I'm not sure. My maths has always been terrible, so I'm not going to pretend that I can work it out on a dime. But I don't know. I don't know. I still think Fortnite's in the wrong and Epic Games are in the wrong, but they want to try and make a stance going forward. So regardless, they've just basically ripped up the contract in front of Apple and said, "We'll take you to court," kind of thing. So I'm not sure whose side of the fence I'm on with this. I'd just rather see the outcome of it. As I've got no one in this race. I'm not backing either of them because I'm not a massive fan of either. I'll play Fortnite. I don't own an Apple product, but for me, it doesn't bother me which way it goes. I'm
Yeah,
more bothered about the people who have been benefiting from using the Unreal Engine. If they're starting to pull everything to do with Epic and Unreal Engine, the only thing that's going to hurt is their own pockets, Apple wise, because of all the games that are going to be using it for Apple Arcade. I don't, I don't know. I suppose we'll wait and see in a week's time where this goes, because I
it's
think
probably even going
Apple
to
are
be
falling.
longer than that. I mean, where was
Yeah,
Asim's pun? He did have a pun earlier on. He says, "I can see this lasting longer than a dot 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 Fortnite." Hey!
I think Apple have got more to lose in this than Epic have, if I'm being honest.
Shout out to Pidge. Mr. S. Pidge says, afternoon, lads. Afternoon. When you said that completely threw me off. I was thinking it's not afternoon, it's morning, but we started late. So, yep, it's afternoon. um, see, I mean, Iceman's comment, to be honest, I see reasons for Apple taking action that could target Unreal Engine. It's owned by a company trying to undermine them. Who could use it to undermine them through other games that use it? It could be seen as a security step. Epic broke their contract because they weren't making as much money as they wanted, using hypocritical logic behind that choice, and they're being punished. I think we'll probably gear up to. I think I should get 10% just in case.
Yeah.
I think we'll gear up to kind of put a pin in
We're
this story then. But I think the gist of it for me is Epic have taken they have done wrong effectively by breaking their contract and so on like that. But doing things wrong or that are seen as wrong or that are breaking contract or whatever isn't always bad for the greater good. So Epic have done wrong in the aim of doing right, but the issue with that is okay, fine, you can do wrong to do right. We know that's possible. People can break rules because they know it's the right thing to do, but it's the motive behind that. Not only that, it's not just the motive behind that. Everything that surrounds Apple, not Apple, Epic and PC exclusivity deals and getting games before other games, or even entirely locking things out. Epic aren't the flipping suffragettes. Well, exactly. That's the point. That's what I'm saying. So Epic are making suffragette moves, but Epic and their hands aren't clean. I think that's the gist of it. So Epic are doing the right thing. They are making suffragette moves. They were doing the thing for the greater good. Suffragettes made change. Epic are making change. But the suffragettes weren't a corporation that is turning money over hand over fist and playing the game of business themselves elsewhere. And I think that's the issue there. Um, is you can't ignore the fact that what Epic is trying to do is good, is decent, and has benefits. But you can't also ignore the fact that it's a bit hypocritical. And that's where the trade off, I think, for me, kind of gets stuck. At that point, I'm thinking, yeah, I do want to see small developers knowing that they can put games on iOS and not have to give 30% of every pound that's spent just because it's put on a system that doesn't really have a hand in it, that doesn't earn their taking it, other than they've built this marketplace now. But yeah, you're only doing it because you want to fill your pockets. It's for their own wallets. They're just trying to make it look like it's for everyone. Well, that's the thing. I mean, that absolutely could be the case. It probably is the case, but it could be the case. But still doesn't mean that it's bad for the greater good. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, and if everyone benefits from it and Epic get a cash in at the same time, clearly they're going to be like cha-ching. I mean, it's like if you could do something that sorted your family out and you get absolutely minted, you'd do it. So there's nothing wrong in that sentiment. It's the fact that we don't have the transparency that comes with that. If you're doing that, saying, "Look, I want my payday and I want to make sure everyone else is fine," you'd be like, "Well, all right, fair enough. High five for the honesty." But there's none of that, and it's the propaganda esque Fortnite. Fort 1980 Fortnite, whatever they called it, the video and stuff like that, which was all cool, really well planned, good marketing, really good PR campaign in terms of hitting the right content at the right time, trying to activate your audience, whether that was the right thing or not. Obviously, there's different opinions on that, but yeah, doing all of that with the hint of where's the transparency? Are you doing it to get your own cash? I mean, if the prices come down by 30%, V-Bucks prices have come down by 20% already, so you're passing some of that money on. How do we know that's not going to go back up, or how do we know that you're not making money elsewhere? So yeah, Epic are trying to make suffragette moves, but Epic aren't the suffragettes. Suffragettes were people that were essentially downtrodden. There's nothing downtrodden about a company that owns Fortnite. All. So yeah, I think that's the issue for me. I mean, I still, like I say, I don't have a side of the fence. I want to see Epic's changes come through, but I don't want to see Epic acting like they're Oliver Twist walking up to the App Store with their ball in their hand, going, "Please, sir, 30% more," and it's like, mate, you literally getting bajillions. Shut your mouth. So yeah, that's it. The 1984 references in poor taste, given that there are protests around the world for human rights and against government surveillance. The 1984 reference is actually in really good taste. It's it's a prod at Apple. I think if you were to kind of be worried about things like that, you wouldn't get anything done. There's a huge significance of the 1984 reference in the fact that Apple had that about IBM. So, ironically, Apple wanted people to rise up against IBM because they were this conglomerate monolith that owned the world, and they were the only PCs and stuff back then. And they wanted to launch the Apple Macintosh, so that's where the 1984 reference comes back full circle. Because 1984 was something that Apple used to make IBM look bad, and now it's something Fortnite is making using to make Apple look bad. In 25 years' time, we've got Babinio Enterprises is going to use 1984 to make Epic look bad. So there we go. It's just, and then 25 years after that, GD123 Limited we've got Babinio Enterprises look bad. It's just full circleage. But yeah, that's where that reference comes from. Anyway, let's put a pin in the Apple Epic news. Let's move forward because do you know what's going to happen on that? We're going to keep talking about it for the next couple of weeks, but I see that being a long, drawn-out affair. There will probably be some chess played in terms of moves and counter moves. We'll probably have Apple removing certain things or things being put behind restraining orders and things not being put behind, and then impacts on engines and stuff like that. We'll probably see little. I say little. If you're living it, it's probably quite big. But for us as a news thing, we'll probably see little snippets come out. But I think it might be a while before we get to the big boom settlement reached or decision made or epic withdrawals or whatever. I think it'll be a long time before we get to that point. But anyway, let's jump into the next bit of news. From one large game to another. I say large game. I haven't played it. You guys might have done though. So what? Let us know your thoughts on this one. As Ghost of Tsushima is getting a free online co-op multiplayer. Legends will release for PS4 later this year. Written by Andy Robinson, once again for VGC, PlayStation has announced a free online cooperative multiplayer mode for Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima Legends is described as an entirely new experience that will be made available for free to owners of the original game on PS4 later this year. Legends is a separate mode that doesn't follow protagonist Jin, but instead focuses on 4 warriors who have been built up as legends in stories told by the people of Tsushima. Game designer Darren Bridges told the PlayStation blog. Players will be able to partner up with friends or via online matchmaking and play Legends in groups of 2 to 4 players each. Each player can choose from one of 4 different character classes: the Samurai, Hunter, Ronin, or Assassin. Each class has unique advantages and abilities that will be revealed later. Ghost of Tsushima's single-player campaign focuses on an open world and exploring the natural beauty of the island. The island. But Legends is haunting and fantastical, with locations and enemies inspired by Japanese folklore, folk tales and mythology, and an emphasis on cooperative combat and action. I'm not going to hit the trip. Actually, well, I'll hit it while I'm reading. I'll mute it though. 2 players will be able to play a series of co-op story missions that escalate in difficulty, Bridges said, building on the foundation of combat from the single-player campaign, but with new magical twists that often require careful synchronization with your partner. With 4 players, players will be able to take on wave-based survival missions, fighting new, tougher opponents such as the Oni enemies with supernatural abilities. Finally, a 4-player raid will arrive shortly after the launch of Ghost of Tsushima Legends, sending players to an entirely new realm to challenge a brutal, terrifying enemy. Released in July, Ghost of Tsushima broke PlayStation's first-party PS4 launch record with more than 2.4 million copies globally in its first 3 days of sales. Bib, thoughts? Oh, okay. We don't have any audio from Bib. Bobby?
Hello.
Oh, there we go.
This is amazing, if I'm being honest. I didn't think that. Well, they clearly have had this up the sleeve for a while, and they've waited to see what the thoughts and feelings was going to be like this sales wise, and it's done infinitely more than I think they actually thought they was going to get from it. So to have something as good as this going for free, amazing, amazing. I haven't played this game. Like I said it before, it doesn't look like the kind of game that I would want to play, if I'm being honest. But since all the gameplay trailers and videos that I've seen knocking around social media, it does make me want to play it a little bit, but not to the point where, even though I'm skint at the moment, that I want to go out and spend money to buy another game because I just haven't got an infinite pool of money, believe it or not. Um, but this, for the people who are massive advocates for this game to be able to go in and play. I didn't think this game would probably get a multiplayer, if I'm being honest, but here we are, and you can play with 4 different people. Well, you can play with 3 other people. So this is again a massive dub for them. 2.4 million copies in its first 3 days of sales is ridiculous. Like, if this doesn't stink of another game, like another one in the series, I don't know how this one finishes, whether or not it's worthy of a finish. If they can actually make a new one off the back of it, I don't know. But if you're having to play with 3 other people, then this stinks of them sitting back and thinking, "Do you know what? We actually need to make another one of these. It's massively profitable."
I like when you get games that do this when it's done correctly. Um, so Ghost of Tsushima has been lauded as a game that has well thought through, is immersive, very emotive. Will that continue if you're playing with your mate Barry? And he's a running. Speaking of mate Barry, ask him. He plays with Barry all the time. He actually does play with Barry. So love this. Essentially, a new core part of the game for free. I mean, ask him. I haven't played it. Biv hasn't played it. You have. Do you feel that everything that makes the game pretty attractive, enjoyable, immersive, do you think that that would continue if you played it alongside someone else? Because obviously, not all the time, but a lot of the time, people play co-op to escape the world, not necessarily to escape into a game. So PUBG, I enjoy playing on my own, but when I'm playing PUBG, say with Bib on stream or something, it's a bit of a different mentality. Then it's less about the grinding out the dub and more about the playing well together as a team or doing funny things or whatever. Do you think that could carry over into that? And then from that, I genuinely didn't expect to see a multiplayer for Ghost of Tsushima. I genuinely didn't. Because of the what's the name of the like film noir sort of style that they had in the game. You can play it in full on black and white sort of subtitled style that you would have seen in like 60s and 70s samurai films. And because of that, I genuinely thought it was just all narrative and solo and delivering the the action story on the path that is being laid out for you, not to just go off and do multiplayer things. I didn't expect to see this, but if Ghost of Tsushima is getting multiplayer, I don't know if it has been announced and I've missed it. Then okay, I apologize. But um, The Last of Us Part Two uh, doesn't have multiplayer and didn't launch with multiplayer. Are they adding multiplayer? And if they haven't said that they're launching multiplayer, do we expect that we could see that now after seeing Ghost of Tsushima getting multiplayer content? Um, Asim says, main game is excellent. Combat is the highlight. The world too. I think that should translate to quite well. Slicing and dicing with friends. Nice. Kurosawa mode. There we go. Do you know, I can't say Kurosawa without thinking of chicken de China, the Chinese chicken. You have a drumstick and you break stop stick it. Because in that it says like Kurosawa make mad films. If I don't make films, but if I did, they'd have a samurai. Anyway, there you go. The Last of Us 2 multiplayer will come separately. Has that been confirmed? Oh, nice. Because the last I saw was it wouldn't have multiplayer, but that was at launch. Not confirmed. Oh, there you go. There you go. Well, there's me trying to lean towards a story, and it's already been announced. Fuck this shit. Anyway, but tell us some stuff while I absolutely don't blow my nose.
Uh, so yes, I mean, I was going to ask you a question then, Graham. Um, oh, okay. So, are you going to be playing Last of Us Part Two soon?
I will be. Not sure when, but I will be. The idea was to get through it when we had the close of play fortnight. But we played through The Last of Us. We had some PUBG launch front page stuff in there as well, and we were requested to play The Last of Us Left Behind before we went ahead. So by the time we'd done that, we didn't have time to fit that in. But yeah, definitely will be playing it soon. Not sure when because me and Danielle are going to finish the Mafia playthroughs. We were going to play Mafia last week, but it was just this room is like an absolute oven, and if you get two people in here, it gets even worse. So we were going to play. What's that? Super sweaty.
Yeah.
Dirty. So yeah, we were going to play it through that. So anyway, yeah, I will be playing through it, but I'm playing through Mafia. Finish off Mafia 2. going through Mafia 3 before 25th of September because that's when Mafia Remaster comes out, and I'm gonna smash that fuck. Yeah. So yeah, I will play it. Don't know when. Don't know when. Anyway, next story. Let's move forward. So forget games that I might play. Games that Bib might play. Let's jump into those. There's Golf Story, follow up Sports Story, delayed. Oh, okay. I thought it was an actual golf one. I misread the title. Oh, do you know? It's still probably a game that
Yeah,
Bib will play. Uh,
I've done it, mate. Golf
uh,
Story, amazing game.
so Golf Story follow-up Sports Story has been delayed indefinitely to ensure that everything makes it into the game. Written by Matt Wales for Eurogamer. Sports Story developer Sidebar Games, much expanded follow-up to its delightful 2017 sporting RPG Golf Story, has been delayed indefinitely. Sports Story was originally announced at the tail end of last year, promising to bolster the golfy business of the first game with tennis, fishing, and judging by its announcement trailer, football, volleyball, and more, all with support for multiplayer. Additionally, its story-driven RPG is set to gain the likes of dungeon crawling, minigames, treasure hunting, and espionage as players embark on their studies at a renowned tennis academy in a bid to enter the famed DCAS Sportathon. There you go. Sports Story, which, like its predecessor, is a Switch exclusive, was initially given a projected release date of mid 2020. However, ahead of tomorrow's Nintendo Indie Showcase, Sidebar has moved to quell any mounting excitement by announcing a delay. We want to take some more time to work on Sports Story and ensure that everything makes it into the game, it said in a statement posted to Twitter. The game has become rather ambitious and we are excited about how it could turn out, Sidebar continued, but the price is currently being paid as we try to make our plans into a reality. Sidebar hasn't yet offered any hint of when Sports Story might now release, but it says it's eager to reveal the results of these past 2 years, so please look forward to future updates. I mean, this is pretty much entirely a story for you to comment on, so take it away, Mr. Bib.
Yeah, so obviously, for anybody that has a Nintendo Switch, please download Golf Story. Not only is it's not a I want to say it's not just a golf game because it really isn't. It's like a proper RPG, but you play golf. So the story is probably like 60% story and then 40% golf, like the stupid shit. So you might have to actually play a round of golf against someone in the game, um, against the CPU. But then there'll be something stupid like you need to stop the alligators from coming onto the side of the fairway. So you need to smack like 10 balls into the sea to stop them from coming in as like warning shots. So it's stupid. The humor is amazing, and this game is what you could probably pick it up for like £7 on the Nintendo Switch store. If you own a Nintendo Switch, please pick this game up. It is hilarious. The writing is amazing. The trailer, the delay trailer for this shows the humor off because that's essentially what you get all the way through the game. So if you do have a Nintendo Switch player, I was really looking forward to this game because obviously really enjoyed the first one. Being able to play things like football, cricket, volleyball, tennis, and all that stuff in this one would have been amazing. They probably could have made like 5 other games just around those sports, but instead they've decided to slap them all into one game, which I knew was going to be ambitious from the get go because you're having to develop physics for all of these different sports rather than just focusing on one. So it doesn't necessarily surprise me that it has been delayed, but I know from experience the first one was amazing, so I can't wait to see more from this one.
Yeah. Don't have anything much to add to that other than they didn't say anything there on whether this would be a COVID sort of thing. You kind of imagine that would be partially the fact that they want to add so much into it.
Yeah.
They started off going, oh, okay, we'll add two and two to make four. And they were like, actually, but if we have another two and another two and another two, before you know it, we've got 356. It's like, fuck. So they've
Mm.
probably added more, plus with all of the COVID stuff. But as with everything we've said over the past 12 months, 2020 in particular has been the year of delays. I know that obviously started pre-Christmas, but still, 2020 has been the year of delays. And yeah, take the time, get it right, come back, kushti. Let's move forward. This one I actually probably should have jumped on. I had my order wrong. I probably should have jumped on this one after the first story. So the first story that we led with was obviously Apple and Epic, the big fight in terms of Epic wanna fight against Apple and their processors because Epic is basically a tiny company that's been ripped off 30% and they need that money because they don't really have
Mhm.
funds behind them. I mean, what really do Epic have other than Fortnite, they have friends that make films and games about Batman characters. So yeah, I mean, this is the context. Epic are doing right moves, but are they really the ones to fly the flag when Joker and Poison Ivy headline the new Fortnite retail bundle? If you have Joker and Poison Ivy heading to your game, you don't necessarily need the pennies. But let's forget that whole discussion. We'll just take this as it is, and we'll leave the stuff, even though it jumps straight into that in the article. So DC's Clown Prince of Crime, the Joker, is coming to Fortnite alongside some other themed cosmetics in a bundle coming out in November. Just want to point out that Joker's already been in PUBG. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, PUBG got there first. If you want to copy Apple, that's fine. Whatever. It's fine. Epic even. God, I fucked it up. Bollocks. While Epic Games is currently butting heads with Google and Apple, that doesn't appear to be hampering development on Fortnite in any way so far. In fact, over the weekend, the publisher announced a new retail bundle for the Battle Royale game, which will see 2 more DC characters enter the fray as skins, namely Batman villains Joker and Poison Ivy. Labelled as the Last Laugh bundle, it will also come with Laugh Riot back bling, the Bad Joke pickaxe, the Joker's Revenge pickaxe, and a pick a card emote, as well as 1,000 V-Bucks for players to spend. In addition, it's been confirmed that the Batman and Harley Quinn skins and associated cosmetics are back in the in-game shop to purchase. Rather than a tie-in to a console game, that skins are more likely. Rather than a tie-in to a console game, the skins are more likely a reference to the popular Harley Quinn cartoon, where Poison Ivy is a major character. Although it's possible she and Joker may also be in the new Batman and Suicide Squad games that are due to be announced this weekend at DC's Fandom. Although he's not a DC character, the pack also sees the return of Midas, who was introduced to Fortnite as part of the spy-themed Season 2 and is now boasting a new Midas Rex outfit. It's not clear whether this is a hint at any future developments for the game's story or simply a new cosmetic. It's not clear whether I've read that bit. The bundle will be made available physically and digitally for consoles this November for $24.99. Epic has stated that it will explain how PC and mobile owners can purchase the bundle at a later date. Epic added that it will arrive in time for the PS5 and Xbox Series X, with Microsoft already having confirmed that their next gen console will be out in November. Bib, are you gonna load up Fortnite? Get a bit of Joker in your life?
Well, I do still have Fortnite again, but all of my Fortnite gaming has been pretty much done on my Nintendo Switch. So every time me and you have played, you've been playing on your PlayStation. I've pretty much been playing on my Switch. So I've kept this game up to date on there. So if I wanted to just jump in, I can do that. If I was going to choose any skin, it probably would have been the Joker one. I know you had the Kylo Ren one, but having this in there, usually when they put skins in like this, it usually leading up to something. Is DC got something in the works? I know we've got a new Batman game coming out. Well, hopefully, going to be announced soon. There was obviously a Suicide Squad one, not long ago as well. But it's a bit weird that they're going to be bringing something like the Joker into this without having anything to promote.
Yeah, I mean, the other day, Chloe was telling me that there's new characters in there, and there was Harley Quinn, and some other Batman-y themed stuff. So like the Bat Signal emote and stuff like that. There was no Batman at that point in time, but that obviously said that he's back as well. And I was saying to Chloe, I mean, it doesn't say anything about it, but that absolutely has to be linked to the DC fandom, even if it never gets like 2+2 is 4 linked. It will be a
Mm,
case of, yeah, but
just
just
a nod.
having it alongside it is just extra noise that adds to the whole DC fandom thing. In the same way that the Force, not what's the Star Wars game, Jedi Fallen Order,
Yeah.
kind of that came out. Did it? I can't remember actually. Did it come out alongside Star Wars? And I can't remember. But
Well, it was for the film, wasn't it? The Star Wars stuff. So we had the Kylo Ren stuff. When the last Star Wars film came out, they had all the live events and stuff because they got to show you like a few seconds of the film, didn't they?
yeah, I didn't
You
mean
know,
that though. I meant more like in terms of EA. Um, some of the games have had actual crossover content for the films, but they've always made sure there's been releases around the film launching because they know that they'll go hand in hand. People want to see the film, so they want to play it, and people want to play the game, so they'll see the film. And even if this doesn't get specifically linked to DC fandom, you know that Warner Brothers have put it in there at this point in time because they want to get more eyes on, they want to get more mouths talking about Batman and Joker and the
yeah.
Suicide Squad. And yeah, that's to be it. Although shout out, I think this has probably got to be the pun of the day. Iceman says, "Joke it in Fortnite. Do you want to know how I got this scar?" Hey, hey!
Nice work. Nice work. I'll smile and clap at that one. Well done, Iceman.
See,
Well
there you
done.
go. If you want to get an anti punner, which is Bib, although he does love a good pun, he just doesn't like it when other people do them. If you want to get an anti punner like Bib on board, just make it a Batman themed joke. Get the joke, and then that's it. That's it. He's easily bought. He's easily bought. But anyway, we have one final story that we'll quickly go through. I mean, that story did mention at the end that the new additions to the game, the new skins and stuff, will be coming in time for the next generation of consoles, with Microsoft confirming that the Series X will be out in November. David has submitted as a story which could give us a little bit of positioning around that. Once again, take this with a massive pinch. We've seen so many people, so many articles giving us ideas of how much the consoles could cost, but Tom's guide has given us another potential look at the price of the Xbox Series X. It's actually not from Tom's guide, but that's where the article is. So we'll go through it. Anyway, Xbox Series X price leaked, and it's shockingly high. Written by Roland Moore Collier at Tom's guide, the Xbox Series X could be more expensive than the PS5. Microsoft's Xbox Series X could cost $599 and potentially be more expensive than the PS5, according to Alana Pierce on the Kinda Funny Xcast. A retail source told Pierce that Xbox Series X will cost nearly $600, which is surprising given previous rumors had suggested that the Microsoft's next generation console could cost as low as $400. Excuse me, burping. As mentioned near the 41-minute mark in the video below, the source messaged a picture of their work screen that had the Xbox Series X price on it. The source messaged a picture of their work screen. Okay, there, yeah. That's arguably some pretty compelling evidence that the Xbox Series X could indeed be more expensive than first thought. However, the price could be simply a holding one for the Xbox Series X, given Microsoft hasn't announced any formal pricing. But with the console launching in November, it's arguably a little late for holding prices. Retailers will likely want to decide how much stock of the console they'll want to get in based on how expensive it is and how likely it will sell at its recommended retail price. With the PS5 tipped to cost $500, there were rumors that the Xbox Series X would undercut it by $100. Such a price cut would indicate that Microsoft wants to get people into its Xbox ecosystem and may be willing to take a loss on its console hardware. However, logic would dictate that the Xbox Series X offers 12 teraflops of power compared to the PS5's 10.28 teraflops. It would be the more expensive console, so paying some $100 more for an Xbox Series X over a PS5 would make sense given the gap in power. And Xbox boss Phil Spencer has said that Microsoft isn't concerned about selling lots of Xbox Series X units, as the plan is to build out the Xbox ecosystem with Xbox Game Pass, xCloud game streaming, cross-generation gaming, and Windows 10 PCs. So if the Xbox Series X costs nearly $600 and people decide not to buy it at launch and go for a PS5 instead, Microsoft still has plenty of ways to bring gamers on board. If this seems like a bold move by Microsoft, it's worth remembering that the Xbox Game Pass currently has 10 million subscribers, as reported by The Verge in April. With Game Pass costing $4.99 to $14.99 a month, Microsoft is essentially making around $100 million a month from the service already. So if next generation Xbox games, which are coming to the Xbox for the first 2 years, encourage more people to sign up for Xbox Game Pass, even without getting an Xbox Series X, Microsoft will still make millions upon millions of dollars. Of course, we'll have to wait to see how this all plays out when the new console comes out in November, but it's looking like neither will really lose in this next generation console. Interesting. $600, which
Massive,
with
massive
console
price.
cross-Atlantic conversion rates will be £600 because that's how it works when they're fucking selling them over here. Would you spend 600 quid on an Xbox Series X, babe?
No, and I would find it very difficult to be able to pay that for a PlayStation as well. Just to be straight down the middle, that is a lot of money. If I was going to be perfectly honest, I'd much rather spend that on getting a new CPU or getting a graphics card from my PC. So it's very difficult to be able to afford £600. Is it going to be a worthy investment? Yeah, absolutely, for someone who is a console gamer and doesn't want to play on PC, who has been in the Xbox ecosystem from day dot. It's probably going to be a worthy investment if you get another 7 years out of it. But £600 to stump up front, it's a lot of money, isn't it? That is a lot of money.
I mean, this is the thing. It is and it isn't. Uh, it's half the price of a new smartphone. But your new smartphone, you say it's just the phone. You can do more with your console. It's got more power in it. It does more things in it. And that's true. That's true. I am on board with that description. But my smartphone, I use for multiple hours a day for
Mm.
multiple things. Everything from just checking social media to posting social media to engaging with people to just quickly editing pictures of care packages onto Bibby's golf course pictures. I do all of that on my smartphone. So,
Yeah.
uh, uh, so I mean, arguably, whilst an Xbox does more, a smartphone is more intrinsic into life, which ties back into the first story, really, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, I can see that being true. I can see it being true. I if that was the price of a PS5, I wouldn't be shocked. I would probably be a bit disappointed because I mean, mainly because I predicted 479 a million years ago, and I still want it to be that, so I can go pow.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be shocked, and I especially wouldn't be shocked to see the Xbox Series X going that way. I mean, the console selling game Halo Infinite isn't coming out to sell the console at launch, so they already know they're not going to sell too many. They are going to
Mm.
sell. I mean, there are people, there are fanboys on both sides, be it the Xbox or the PlayStation side, that will just buy the console of their allegiance, regardless. So if Xbox aren't going to dominate the market because they don't have any of the Xbox Studios games coming out, or Microsoft Studios or whatever it's called, at launch, then why drop the price uh, and take a drop in profits there? You're going to sell some anyway. You might as well just make as much out of it as possible on that, then sell the ecosystem, and then when it comes to it, maybe drop the price a little bit later on, and then bring more people in when you want to actually sell it alongside the games. Oh, the Halo actually comes out, and the console is now not $600; it's now $500, and that's when everyone jumps in. I reckon it's probably more likely to be that way. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 600. I still think it's fairly high, but I could see it being possible.
Mm.
Tito says you're robbing people with that pun, Iceman.
Uh,
I don't believe this at all. Microsoft business plan is getting people into their Game Pass Ultimate ecosystem. They will heavily discount their hardware. I mean, that's the thing, though. They don't need the hardware. So it could go the other way. I mean, it's a good call. It is a good call. But yeah, I could see them going, do you know what? We're not, oh, as I've just said, we're not going to sell that many at the start. So let's just sell it at full price, which then gives us the value proposition going forward. It's like, okay, it's a £600 console, not a £500 console like the PlayStation, but we'll sell it you for 500 quid now, which gives you that sort of, oh, fuck, it's just dropped in 100 quid in price. Let's get it now. So there is that sort of marketing element to it as well, where they could go on that. So, I mean, yeah, I believe it and I don't believe it. I'm not sure. Obviously, just take it with a pinch until we get the announcement. No doubt in the next few weeks it has to be. Surely we're on the verge of September and it comes out in November. I expect a £499 price point for Series X and a £399 to £449 for the Series S. Don't forget Microsoft trialed a £25 a month bundle for Game Pass Live and the cost of the console over 24 months. Did interesting. Interesting. I mean, £25 a month is obviously it's a lot of money that, but it's not if you're paying for Game Pass and everything anywhere within it. I can see a lot of people jumping on that. It's paying for Netflix is expensive. Paying for Disney Plus is expensive, especially when you've got to spend 30 fucking quid on every new film they add to it.
mm.
Um, but you can absorb that, and people could absorb 25 quid a month. And if that's the case, I could see people doing that. I watched the bit in that video. They also show pics of the display date of November 6th for US release date for the robot controller. The robot controller? You can control robots? What? uh, I don't. I do see the video. What is? There's going to be adverts on it, though, isn't there? I'm not going to watch it if there is. Play. Okay, it's not going to play. Never mind. Sony put the PS3 on the back foot with the high price point. It never recovered, and the 360 was king. Conversely, the PS4 was lower priced. Last so the Xbox was bundled with Kinect. Neither Sony nor Microsoft will price hardware higher than they absolutely have to. Yeah. I get you now. I get you. I mean, good points. Good points. I mean, that's the reason we don't have prices now. The pricing point. Apologies for my fat fingers. uh, I mean, that the pricing point is the reason we don't have the prices now because it is such a big decision maker for a lot of people. That so many people, the majority of people, aren't Xbox or PlayStation fanboys. They are just going to play the games, and if they go into a store and they see that one is £100 more than the other, um, a lot of people see it as, do I want what used to be the black box versus the grey box, and it's now going to be the other way around, the white box versus the black box, or whatever. People are gonna look at it and just go, okay, well that one's cheaper. They both play the games. They both got FIFA and Grand Theft Auto or whatever. Well, we assume Xbox has got Grand Theft Auto. I don't actually know. But yeah, a lot of people will just go in and say they all play the same stuff. A lot of people don't play the exclusives. They're not bothered about playing Halo or the Ghost of Tsushima and things like that. A lot of people just play the all the Ubisoft games and all the 2K games and the games that are on multiple formats. So yeah, I agree. Pricing definitely is a big thing when it comes to impulse purchasing. When you're in a store, impulse purchases are more often than not affected by price. If you give a sort of sense of value there, people will jump on it. And by having one next to the other, even though one's got 12 teraflops and one's got 10.28, if you don't know what a teraflop is, then you're like, oh, that's got 12 of them, that's got 10, but that's 100 quid cheaper, so you can take that one instead. So yeah, it's brinksmanship at the moment. Sony and Microsoft are playing chicken to see who will declare price first. Yeah, I hope that I just want someone to. I'd be happy at this point. I wouldn't be. I'd be happy at this point. Is what I was going to say. Is if they just get on the phone and say, "Look, can we both just agree to call it 499 and see where we go from there?" Yeah, go on then. But that would be price fixing and price gouging and yeah, so whatever. But I do. I want the price. As soon as we get the price, that is when things will kick in. I called it months ago, but as soon as we get the price, things will move. It will all change. The whole shape of the console thing will change. Pre-orders will come out. You'll get offers and stuff coming out. You'll start to get the price gouging stuff of people bulk buying and stuff. So we'll get good and bad news starting to roll out from there. That's the link to the video on YouTube. Let's have a look. Quick look.
Controllers, people. The word is people in Chicago are grabbing these controllers and
Oh
now
look,
buying them
Gary
off
Witter,
the
bib.
streets or whoever. And
Yeah.
also at the same time, Alana, you brought up this
Legend.
controller is also backwards compatible. So technically, if you have that robot white controller with the share button, you can use that on the Xbox One. So like we talked about with controllers moving forward, if you had this in your hands, you could be playing with it right now.
So that's
Gary,
the
what
first
do you
time
think
I've
about
ever.
all
Yeah,
this?
sorry. I feel like I didn't really answer your question.
That's the first time I've ever seen what Snowbike Michael looks like. I've never seen Snowbike.
Don't know. You don't really.
I've heard his voice a million times, but I've never seen him. I don't watch any of the kind of funny stuff usually. I listen to it usually.
Yeah, right.
So
Follow
mean,
Twitter, me and him, mates.
Mate, it follows you on Twitter.
Yeah.
Snowbike Michael.
Michael.
Anyway, I think we've reached the end of the show. If we started to chat about
Yeah.
Snowbike Michael. Red Rumors, Microsoft was set to declare the price first next month, but due to a Halo delay, they've pushed back, so potentially Sony will be first. Yeah, I actually saw that as well, saying that I need to get used to this as well. For those of you that are new in, I have a new camera, which my camera is usually sat right here on the monitor in front of me, like there, but now it's up there, higher up, to get a different field of view, which is awesome when I'm sat still, but I have shit posture, so I'll drop out the bottom of the screen, I'll move over to the side and stuff. So I'm trying to get used to being posture check, sat upright in the middle of the shot, but we'll work at it. Anyway, other things we are working on, and you can work on too. ! Giveaway. I'll type it in the chat for you. We are giving away a retro console. Oh fuck, because I restarted it. Chatbot's dead again. Bollocks. We are giving away a retro console. If you want to win yourself an Evercade retro console, it's a cool little thing. It's like a SNES controller sized console. Complete with a Founders Edition collector's coin, first edition collector's coin even. Basically, we backed them on Kickstarter twice. So we got two consoles, and we're giving one away. ! Giveaway when Chatbot is alive. I think we're just about there. Yeah, but there we go. Should be in now. Okay, ! Give away. Hey, there you go. There's the link. If you want to get involved to win yourself a little retro console, there you go. If you've entered previously as well, we do have daily entrants as well, so you can have other ways of getting involved. A little bit of a teaser going forward, which relates to this next command that I'm typing into the chat. Exclamation mark Muscle Moose. Ice cream uploads are powered by Muscle Moose. We get you guys 25% off all orders on musclemoose.co.uk. Just use the code IceCream25. Thanks to the lovely people at Muscle Moose. Our community have our own exclusive discount code for a quarter of the price taken off, which is huge. But anyway, as I was saying, we may have a little bit more stuff with Muscle Moose coming forward. That's all I'm going to say right now. But if you're tempted by going to musclemoose.co.uk and you've not ordered anything yet, you absolutely should because it's fit, by the way. But you might want to try it. Then maybe we might have some stuff. You know, maybe we might run some sort of giveaway with that. I don't know. But keep your eyes on us for the next couple of weeks. Anyway, before we do disappear, Bib, is there anything that you'd like to add in?
Yes, of course. If you do see any video game news that you think deserves our attention and you also have some thoughts on, there's two ways that you can do that. First of all, find us on social media by typing, literally just find us Ice Cream Uploads across absolutely everything, all major social media platforms. You can find us using those. Second thing, if you are in the chat, then feel free to head over to our Discord. All you need to do is just click on the link that Grace provided you in chat or in the panels down below. You'll be able to find all the details there. Just click it, join it. There's an area in there called the Scoop. Drop in your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions of the very next show, which should be at what time tomorrow, Mr. Grape Day?
Earlier than 11 a.m. ish. So yeah, it should have been 10 a.m. ish today. I did have a post office run to pick up a few parcels, but then we had all of the tech stuff, so it was a little bit after 11 when we actually started. But tomorrow we will be live at around 10 a.m. ish. So yeah, that's it for the Scoop. Anyway, we are going to drop off. I will jump back on with a few games of PUBG, tick off the dailies as we usually do on Tuesday. So if you want to stick around, feel free. If you want to jump in some games, then feel free. Obviously, the same goes to you, babe. If you want to play some PUBG games, I know you're massively addicted to it now. You pretend you're playing Football Manager. You load what he does, he sits there at night, loads Football Manager up on his PC, so it tells everyone he's playing Football Manager, and then he goes off and drops into Erangel, starts trying to find his UMP and his M16. We know what he's like. But yes, that's it. Just a quick one. Obviously, Bib's just mentioned if you want to share your stories, you can in the Discord. If you want us to talk about any of the breaking news from the world of video games, shout out to Fatman Dave 8472 who did that with the Xbox controller story at the end. Thank you very much, David. Also to David for the audio snippets that we used in Masters of the League yesterday. He was messaging me about something else last night, which I won't mention because it might not happen, might not work. But if it does, we might have something a little cool to go in, coming forward into Masters of the League stuff. So yeah, we will see. We'll see.
There is just one other thing as well. I did drop some codes into the loot drop area last night. I don't think all of them have been taken because no one's told us that they've been taken. So if you are a subscriber around here, go into the loot drop area in Discord. There is 5 codes for Rogue Company in there available. 1 for the Epic Games Store, 1 for Xbox One, 1 for Nintendo Switch, and 2 for PlayStation. So hop in there if you haven't already got them. Have a look, take what you want.
Yeah. On the loot drop, actually, we haven't announced it. Do you know? I'll tell you guys in here first. We are going to announce the loot drop, and the first Monday of every month, that is when we're going to pick the winners for the loot drop. So the loot drop, if you don't know what it is, if you're an Ice Cream Upload subscriber and you are in our Discord, you get access to the loot drop server. As long as you've got everything linked up, your Twitch and your Discord and so on, we will know you're a subscriber, and that means that you basically are in the bag. Every month you're a subscriber, you're in the bag to win a prize. And the first prize will be one of the exclusive Ice Cream Uploads baseball caps. And yeah, that will be picked the first Monday of every month. So that way everyone's got obviously a chance of being involved every month they're a subscriber. And that is that. We will announce that on social media today. So keep your eyes out for that. And that's it. Before we jump back on with PUBG, have yourselves a fantastic day. Remember,
Stay frosty.
Yeah.